All right, I think I'm live. Hey, everybody. This is the first time we are doing the news show live. So, for those that are new to the news segment, I'm Peter Brown, and you're watching Football Miami TV's local news. Now, I'd like to hear from you guys if you're watching. Like, chat me, say hi in the chat room, just so we can let me know if the audio is sounding good. The setup was a little bit different than what I normally do. Normally, I amp up the audio in the editing process, but this is live, so there's no editing. But I gotta be fully transparent with you. The reason we're doing it live, sure, it sounds like a cool experiment, and we want to try something new and different. But in all reality, I had a really busy weekend. Didn't have time to write a script, didn't have time to film a video, and didn't have time to edit a video. So we're doing it the easy way, and when we're doing it live. And also, to be honest, there wasn't a ton of news stories. So, that's part of it too. So again, if you're in the chat, if you're watching this live, go say something in the chat room. We'll you can join into the in the conversation. We can have some back and forth. But to start it off, let's just get right into it. And again, if you're watching it, chime in and we'll get your thoughts. So ask. All right, hey, Marco's in here. So hi, hey Marco, thanks for watching. So, anyways, one of the news stories that came out this past week, it's not official, so Inter Miami hasn't said anything, but HOK and Arquitectonica, I know I'm screwing that name up, but I have a hard time saying it. But Arquitectonica, I think that's how you say it. Anyways, those two firms have apparently partnered up, and they are the ones that are going to deliver the um, the new stadium at Freedom Park. So so they built American Airlines. I think they both were in cooperation with American Airlines. They both also worked together on the Dolphins renovation, so that new roof to make a Dolphin Stadium look like a real football stadium. Not American football, but a world football stadium. So, those two design firms have apparently teamed up, and to me, that's pretty cool news. HOK, just for those that don't know, they have worked on Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that weird-looking stadium that Atlanta United call home. It's like got all these geometric shapes and stuff. It's kind of a little odd. They've also built or designed the San Jose Earthquakes Avaya Stadium. So they've got a little MLS experience in there. And they've also, like I said, did the Miami Dolphins updates. Artec, Arc, damn, I can't say this. Architectonica has they were involved also with the American Airlines Arena, the Dolphin Stadium. I haven't seen, looking at their portfolio, that they did a ton of sports stadiums things, but they'll give the stadium a very Miami, kind of modern Miami feel that I think is really cool. If you look at their portfolio, they've done buildings all around the world, and they all have this very, very clean modern look. So hey, so let's say hi to a few more people. Ricky Ricardo, one of our FMTV um, members, or one of the three of us that are running FMTV, is in the chat. Patrick Torres, hey Patrick, how you doing? Thanks for joining. And 593 Sports TV, thanks for joining as well. Again, if you want to chime in, give your 2 cents, do it. Um, so I'm curious. Oh, and Ed's here too. Uncle Ed. So we've got the entire Football Miami TV group in this chat and or live in this video. So cool stuff. Oscar Hernand, welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for the sound check. Yeah, so I got the microphone right here, just off camera. Uh, okay, I think there was a small little glitch there because my wife is trying to call me while we're doing this live show. So, all right. So, any any updates? Here's Carlos Vintimilla has a question. Any updates on when the construction of the new stadium is going to start? No. So we actually had, to be honest, we can't give up too many details, but we had some of our FMTV crew, Uncle Ed and Ricky Ricardo, at the Inter Miami offices on Friday. They got a sneak peek at some of this stuff. I did not get to go, time constraints, but they got to take a quick look at some of the designs from everything I hear, it looks really good. Unfortunately, there is no start date on the construction because, as I think a lot of you probably know, they're everybody wants to fight this deal. So, but they still have to get enter into negotiations with the city. They've got to get, I think it's 5 votes from the commissioners, something like that. So they got to get the commissioners to vote in on it. So we're not going to see any construction anytime soon, I don't think, until we got to get the politics of it all done. And as everybody knows, building anything in Miami is tough. So, in thinking of that, that's probably one of the reasons why they have looked at Fort Lauderdale for their training facility because Fort Lauderdale is just asking anybody basically to take that, asking them to take that Lockhart Stadium land and do something with it. So now we've got 2 companies that want to do something with it. We've got Inter Miami want to building their training facility there, and also FXE Football who want to build a nice big development with restaurants, a Top Golf, and all that kind of stuff. Um, and I'm going to, guys, bear with me 1 second. If you're married, you'll totally understand what I'm doing here. I'm telling my wife that I'm live on YouTube, as she would say. My wife is from Brazil, and so she would say it like that. Anyways, back to the show. Sorry about that. But family, got to take care of some stuff. So, so anyways, I just skipped before I get to some of the questions here, and thanks Lucho for joining in. Oscar, the coach, or somebody, the coach is also in the house apparently. So thanks to everybody for jumping in. But going back to that Fort Lauderdale thing, and obviously that's near and dear to my heart. I spent a lot of years going to see so many games in Fort Lauderdale, being the Strikers or Miami Fusion. It's also a place where, funny thing is, went to see United States play Canada in a friendly game, and that's a game where me and my wife we went to the game, and some of these grumpy old Canadians told her to sit down because she was cheering for the U.S. and they didn't really like that. So, but it's so. Anyways, if you are interested, Wednesday, the people that are from FXC Football, let me get the information here, are going to host like a little town hall type thing. So, and that is it's going to be Wednesday. I think it's here it is, Wednesday 7:30 at Fat Tap, some sort of brewery here up in Oakland Park, so in the Fort Lauderdale area, and they're going to present their entire vision for the Lockhart Stadium. So I'm going to go, and so I will film a little bit. I don't know what we'll get. Hopefully I can do an interview, but at the very least we'll film a little bit of their presentation and hear what they have to say. They're offering a championship level USL club. Meanwhile, Inter Miami would be offering a League One. So there's some positives on both sides. Obviously, most of us are Inter Miami fans here that watch this channel and would love to see Lockhart being used for that. But anyways, I just wanted to mention that I didn't want to talk too much about Lockhart because we've done several videos, and if you haven't seen the one video of me walking through Lockhart, the abandoned Lockhart, go check that out. It's a little crazy. Um, that's right, Oscar. I always have to respond to the wife. Um, so go to Fact Tap if you're interested in hearing the presentation. So I'm gonna go. So anyways, Lucho is asking what you think of the CONCACAF Champions League this year, MLS chances at winning it, and would be Inter Miami's goal if it comes up. Champions. Da, ba, ba, ba. Will Inter take it seriously? I mean, I love the tournament, Champions League. There's a couple of tournaments that I think are really great. The U.S. Open, which nobody seems to take serious until the final game, and the Champions League. I mean, at some point we've got to win it. I mean, it has been won by an MLS club, I think only once, and it was um, the Los Angeles Galaxy. So that was a very long time ago. We definitely need some MLS clubs to represent well in that tournament. I'm not even sure, to be honest, Lucho, who's playing yet. I mean, I'm so focused on Inter Miami. I hope they take it serious, and I think that is a type of tournament that Inter Miami would definitely want to take serious because we want to be an international club. So I think they have to take it serious. So yeah, ask me anything you want, but don't expect me to answer everything that in an intelligent way because I got to be honest. I call this local news because I'm very locally focused. I really do pay attention to what's going. I don't watch a lot of European football. I watch what's going on in South Florida mostly, or the United States. I'm a big MLS watcher. Excited for the season to start. And I know as a member of Southern Legion, I know we're going to have an event coming up soon, so people can go to the new Southern Legion website, southernlegionmia.com, and check that information out, which will be posted sometime in the near future. But I'm excited about MLS. I'm excited about like the local clubs, Boca Raton FC, Miami United, Miami FC, all the local stuff here in South Florida really excites me, and I like to pay a lot of attention to that. But MLS definitely has to win the Champions Cup sometime in the near future. And speaking of Miami FC, I don't know if you've noticed, and I don't know if any of you guys watching this really pay attention to Miami FC, but they're stacked. They have stacked this club. Ricardo Silva has no problem. He's the owner of the team. He has no problem with spending a bunch of money. And it doesn't matter if he's in the NPSL or if he's in the NASL, he wants to outspend everybody. And if you're a fan of Miami FC, or I got one of their scarves over here. If you're a fan of Miami FC, that's all you ever want. You want your owner to do whatever it takes, spend all the money, and kill the competition. So yeah, they're stacked. They've got players like John Neeskens. If I remember, I think he's a Dutch player. Lloyd Sam is their biggest signing. You guys would know him from the Premier League. Played with the Red Bulls in New York. 106 appearances with them. Also played for DC United. He is way too good to be playing in the NPSL, right? But they signed him, and he's playing there. They got another guy, Marco Franco. He played for Chicago Fire, Indy 11. Good quality players. Lance Roseboom last season was with the hated Tampa Bay Rowdies. I don't care what level of soccer you support. If you live in South Florida, you have to hate Tampa Bay Rowdies. It's in the contract, right? So if you're from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, you must hate Tampa Bay Rowdies. So, but he's playing for Miami now. So and then there's a young guy, Mohamed Thiaw, who was a 2018 MLS draft pick for San Jose. He last year played for Reno 1868 in the USL. So they've got a really good squad. And I was speaking with some other NPSL owners, and they are not so happy about this. They feel that why should we play in the NPSL? Why should we pay for the registration fee when we know there is zero chance of us winning against, say, Miami FC? So you've got some teams that could potentially sit out the NPSL season. Because from what we're hearing, Miami FC is going to play the regular NPSL season, and then which goes from May to July, and then they will ramp up in August, start playing in the Founders Cup, which is now the NPSL's professional league. So, so Lucho is saying here, the ownership group, it's not Inter Miami, trying to take a team to USL at Lockhart. Is the ownership group trying to take a team to USL at Lockhart? Are they trying to revive the Strikers by any chance? Miami FC versus Strikers in the US Open Cup would be fun again. Yes, it would. I don't know. There's some fans that don't want the Strikers to be brought back to life. That let that name and legacy kind of lie. It was kind of destroyed a little bit with the previous Brazilian ownership, and I'm married to a Brazilian, but I'm happy that we don't have Brazilian ownership. I don't think they know how to run soccer clubs. They know how to play the game. I don't know if they know how to run the game, but it's kind of a split. You know what? And that will be a good question for me to, if I get a chance to talk to some of these guys at Fat Tap on Wednesday. That's a good question to ask them if they're interested in reviving that brand. I think it would be cool. And at the end of the day, somebody's going to bring it back someday, whether it be in 10 years from now or what. It's just when you think Fort Lauderdale, you think that name, and somebody's going to want to bring it back and tap into that history. So it might as well be this group. But there's definitely a divide. Some people say, "Hell no, don't do it." And then, oh, welcome, new Bambino. Welcome to the live broadcast. Thanks for joining. How can, oh, this is a good question. So how can a college student try out for Inter Miami? Well, they're building an academy, so that'll be your way. There is no official tryouts or anything set up yet, but you know that definitely will happen. This past weekend, Football Miami TV guys were at Weston Cup, which is up in Broward County, West Broward. So that is a huge tournament, and we know that the Inter Miami scouts, if you will, were at that tournament. They were definitely there on Saturday. We're not sure about Sunday. We were looking for them on Sunday, but they were definitely there on Saturday. So they were already scouting, looking for talent for the academy. So there's definitely going to be, I'm sure, some opportunities. This club really wants to be local. So just stay tuned. As soon as we find out when there'll be some sort of open tryouts, we'll definitely let you know. But hey, if you're a college kid, look, you don't have to start playing with Inter Miami. There's other options in South Florida to get your foot in the door. There's been open tryouts for Miami FC. I'd like to see you try out for that club and do well, and then get noticed for Inter Miami. There's several NPSL clubs that have open tryouts that really work with a lot of college players. So there's other options outside of Inter Miami in South Florida for you to really kind of kickstart your professional soccer career. But we'll let you know as soon as we find out anything about any kind of tryouts. All right. So speaking of NPSL, got a few more things. I don't know how long we'll make this live feed. Normally my news segments are pretty short, but the more questions you guys ask, the longer we'll keep it going. But while there's a break in questions, let's get back to a little bit of that NPSL that Miami FC is going to be playing in. They're going to be playing in the Founders Cup, which they just announced that the starting date will be August 10th. From what I'm hearing, that even NPSL itself isn't really thrilled with this Founders Cup. I'm just hearing there's a little bit of divide. So they're kind of being forced into it. And if you know Ricardo Silva, he's one of the guys that's really pushing this Founders Cup, and he wants to compete with MLS. And we've seen ownership groups have that mentality come and go. If you were a fan of the original Miami FC or the version of that became the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, the ownership there, Traffic Sports, specifically Aaron Davidson, who later became famous for being indicted in the FIFA scandal and was under house arrest, and he still may be. He was a fairly close friend of ours, but his idea also was competing against MLS. And you saw what happened with the NASL when they start butting heads with the MLS. It just doesn't really work. They're the kings right now. So a lot of people have told me they believe in the AFL NFL merger. So something like that happened in American football where the two leagues kind of came together. People think that could happen in American soccer. I don't see it happening. MLS is the giant right now. Everybody's spending a bunch of money into get into MLS, and To me, I think what could happen as a next step instead of it would be maybe NPS or MLS. Right now they're partnered with USL, but what if someday they just decide to buy USL and really control the pyramid? Interesting. I think it's a an idea. So New Bambino is asking what my relation is to Inter Miami. I'm a fan. That's it, really. Football Miami TV is made up of fans of the game. We have some connections with the club, and we're trying to get more, and we're trying to get closer with the club. But at the end of the day, this is a YouTube channel created for fans by fans. So this channel kind of goes back a while from when Ed and I, Uncle Ed and I, used to do a radio show for a radio show for called Ultras Alive. Matthew Farias, that's a weird question. How tall am I? Do I look short in this? I don't know. Maybe I need to sit up a little bit more. I don't know. I'm leaning forward so I can get close to the mic. But you'll have to. When you meet me someday, you'll find out how tall I am. That's a weird question, Matthew. Sorry, just odd. But yes, Lucho, I have a picture with long hair. I don't have it on me. It's like, what should I do? Put that picture right back here. Frame a picture of my long hair days. Those of you that don't know, I used to have some very long hair, and back in the '80s, man, that's the look. That's what you had. Yeah, it's in actually one of the first news videos we did. So if you go back to episode 1 or 2 of the local news, I put the picture up because people were asking for it. So I don't know why, but it was just the look at the time. So yeah. Anyways, NPSL Club, it's starting August 10th, and for the East region, and then the West region will start August 24th. Just interesting, real to note, the East Coast of the Founders Cup will be made up of the New York Cosmos, Chattanooga FC, who well, see, wait, hang on a second. The opening matches I got here are New York Cosmos at Chattanooga. Chattanooga, man, that's a club that gets a ton of fans. They're really doing a good job at the lower levels. Miami United at Milwaukee Torrent, and then you'll see Detroit City FC at Miami FC. And Detroit City is another MPSL club that's getting 5,000 fans, maybe more. I mean, they're killing it up there. So much so there's always talk about them getting an MLS team. And then the East Coast, that was East. The West Coast region will include ASC San Diego, Cal FC, California United Strikers, FC Arizona, and Oakland Roots. I don't have the they haven't announced the matchups for that yet. So all right, let's get back to some of your questions. Oscar asks, it's important, says, this is I think more of a statement, it's important for college students to understand that to maintain their eligibility, they can play for USL 1 or 2. If you get a contract on USL Championship, you lose your college eligibility. That's why NPSL, for example, is a great opportunity for college students. I have very close relations with Boca Raton FC. I did a little color and I did a little radio show for them last year. Goofy little thing. But, their club is all college kids and then Ocho Cinco. Ocho Cinco, if those of you don't know, Ocho Cinco, the NFL player, former Cincinnati Bengals and Miami Dolphins player, is playing for Boca Raton FC right now. I went and watched a game, and we're gonna try to get an interview with him at some point to help promote Boca Raton FC, and also it's an interesting story. How does this NFL player get interested in playing soccer? And he's doing it at the lowest level, and that's great. So yeah, Oscar's right. Best thing is to practice USL Championship and play USL or 1 or 2. So there's lots of options for a young player in to play. You don't always have to start in MLS. And there's so many great MLS player stories that started in the lower levels that worked hard and worked their way up. So if Bambino, if you love the game and you're good enough, it'll happen for you. So just start playing, and there's so many opportunities in South Florida to get some playing time. Mr. Tico Store CR, hey, how you doing? Welcome, thanks for joining. So another thing that was on my mind is that those of you that are old Strikers fans, again, there wasn't a ton of news this week, but the former England and Fort Lauderdale Strikers keeper Gordon Banks, he died at 81. So I know most of you have probably never even heard of him, but those of us that are a little older may have seen him or may just know the name from his. He won the World Cup in 1966 with England, and in 1977, when I was 8 years old, he won the NASL Keeper of the Year with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers playing at Lockhart. That was back in the day where the Strikers were rock stars in South Florida. They were hanging out with the Miami Dolphins, picking up all the ladies. Really, really, the kings of Fort Lauderdale. The days with Rocky Ray Hudson, Nene Cubillas, and all those great players. So sad to see Gordon Banks but apparently he died in his sleep. So it was nice and peaceful for him. He played only 2 seasons with the Strikers, but he was such a big name and but such a big advertising get for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers back in those days. So it's two shows in a row where we're saying goodbye to somebody. And just to wrap things up a little bit, like I mentioned before, the FMTV crew was at the Inter Miami's home office and so some of our Uncle Ed and Ricky Ricardo sat down with Jurgen Menke, who is in charge of the business side of things for Inter Miami. So look forward to that interview coming hopefully this week on this channel. So that should be awesome. Seen some great pictures that they took of the office, and so look for that, and also look for more of those type of interviews as we try to make our relationship with the club even tighter and better. Another little plug advertisement thing, as I mentioned, we were at the Weston Cup and we did some video there, and we interviewed the coach of West Pines. And funny little story is I was at work today, and one of my coworkers comes into the office near the end of the day with his son. Son looks to be about, I don't know, 9. So he's a young little guy. And he had his Weston Cup medal. So he's a goalkeeper for a club. They live somewhere down in, I think, the Kendall area. So I'm not sure what club he plays for. But they won the Weston Cup for that age. So that was really kind of neat. So I got to talk to this kid, and it was kind of funny because I was telling him that the Inter Miami scouts were there, and that hey, maybe they found him, maybe he'll be a future star in the goal for Inter Miami. But look for a video this week or next week from us, a very short little video of us at Weston Cup. And another little plug. And this is not for us, but don't forget to go to Miami United are hosting the Honduran champs FC Montagua. I hope I'm saying that name right, and it's on March 15th. So go to MiamiUnitedSoccer.com for tickets and more information. That's another club that we're very close with, and Roberto Sacca, the CEO of that club, is a really great guy, and so I hope they get a lot of success, a big turnout for them there. So I think that basically wraps it up. I really appreciate everybody that came in and watched. Okay, here we go. Juan Villa says thanks for joining. He wants to know when Inter Miami is going to sign some new players. It should happen soon. We did originally, and we talked about this, and again on a previous Inter Miami news. A lot of the news on here is Inter Miami, but it's not all Inter Miami. On a previous local news, that they hope to make an announcement of a key player by summer. So I think maybe a big name marquee player, kind of like you think about what Orlando did with Kaká. So they signed him in advance, like a year in advance or something like that. So hopefully we'll hear some news in the next few months of some sort of a player signing. And thanks, Lucho. All right, Oscar, we'll probably take you up on some of those interviews. We definitely we want to. That's the thing with this channel. If you're new to it, we want to cover soccer at all levels. So obviously, a big focus is going to be Inter Miami. They're the big dogs. That's the team that we, as fans, have worked so hard and hoped for so long, and we finally got them. So we're going to talk a lot of Inter Miami, but we're going to talk Boca Raton over here, Inter Miami, or Miami FC over here. Well, anything local, we're really going to talk about it. So, and we're going to cover it from the Weston Cup all the way to say the Champions League, hopefully for Inter Miami. So, um, we definitely want to cover all kinds of levels of soccer. So, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I want to thank everybody for joining, and if you like this, keep commenting on the bottom, and maybe we'll make the live version of the news something we do a little bit more often. So thanks for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody. I'm going to turn this off here.